There are many Hogwarts ghosts, but the one that I find most fascinating is the Grey Lady, aka Helena Ravenclaw. In this video, I'm going to explain the life of the Grey Lady, and on top of that, explain how to become a ghost in the wizarding world. I'm also going to throw in some of my own opinions and theories for certain parts of her life, so let's get started. Helena was born in the late 900s and was the daughter of Rowena Ravenclaw, one of the 4 founders of Hogwarts. She of course had a lot to live up to, as her mother was one of the most respected witches of all time. Her mom created Hogwarts sometime before Helena turned 11, with Godric Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff, and Salazar Slytherin. Each founder had their own house that favored the qualities that they found most important. For Rowena, it was wit, cleverness, and intellect, the qualities that she saw in herself. Because her mother was so busy with the school, she didn't have much time to pay attention to Helena, which led to some resentment toward her mother. Rowena, along with the other founders, got a special item that meant something to them. Helena's mother had a diadem that made the wearer increase their intelligence, most likely enchanted by Rowena herself. Helena was one of the first generations to go to the newly founded school, and one of the few generations to be there when the 4 founders were actually running it themselves. She was of course sorted into Ravenclaw House, which came as no surprise to anyone. During her time at Hogwarts, she was taught by the 4 founders, including her mother, complicating the relationship even more by adding a teacher-student dynamic on top of everything else. While at school, she met a Slytherin student, the Baron, a boy known for his hot-headedness. He fell in love with Helena, but Helena did not share the feelings, rejecting him on multiple occasions. He continued to pursue her despite this. Helena always lived in her mother's shadow, and was always compared to her. She of course never lived up to the great witch that her mother was. This led to Helena doing something drastic, something that would help her become more clever and more important than her mother. She stole Rowena's diadem to increase her intellect. She then ran away from the school, from her mother, and from life as she knew it. She was ready to start a new life, a life where she would outshine her mother. Her mother never admitted that the diadem was gone, but pretended that she still had it. On top of that, she hid Helena's betrayal from everyone, even the other founders of Hogwarts. Her mother eventually fell fatally ill. Despite Helena's betrayal, Rowena still wanted to see her daughter one last time. She sent the Baron to find her, the man that even after all of these years still loved her daughter. The Baron saw this as an opportunity to reunite with the love of his life. Helena's plans of a new life fell short of what she had expected. She had stayed hidden in a forest in Albania that would later be known as Scotland. While there, she was figuring out her plans when the Baron found her. Helena heard him coming and hastily hid the diadem in a hollow tree in the Albanian forest. The Baron told her to come with him, reaching out a hand to the woman that he loved, hopeful that she would reciprocate the feelings and take his hand. But Helena refused. The Baron got angry and did something that he would regret for the rest of his life. Furious of Helena's refusal, jealous of her freedom, he raised his knife and stabbed her in the chest. Blood spewed from Helena and got all over the Baron. He was a crazed maniac until he realized what he had done. The woman he loved lay dead in front of him, the blood on his hands. As he looked down at her lifeless body, he was overcome with remorse. He took the bloody knife that had claimed his love and used it to stab himself. The two lay next to each other, dead. Both Helena and the Baron chose to become ghosts when they died. But how do you become a ghost? According to Nearly Headless Nick, very few wizards choose this path. To become a ghost, wizards and witches leave an imprint of themselves upon the earth, to walk palely where their living selves once trod. Nearly Headless Nick told Harry that the reason he stayed behind was because he feared death. Nick states, "I am neither here nor there," meaning he is neither dead or alive. He's not truly alive on Earth, as he chose a feeble imitation of life, nor does he know the secrets of the afterlife or what happens to you after you truly die. So why did Helena and the Baron choose this path? We don't know for sure, but I do have a theory. Rowling said that most witches and wizards that choose to do this often have unfinished business. I think that Helena's unfinished business was getting out of her mother's shadow and being known as her own person beyond her last name. She also wanted to outshine her mother. She knew that her mother didn't go this route. When she died, she died. But Helena wasn't done. She found a way to beat death, to stay alive, to live longer than her mother. This to her could be perceived as her being more clever than her mother, the thing that she always aspired to, first clinging to the diadem, and now clinging to life on Earth. This also gave her a chance to start a new life without her mother. It was like a second chance. But why did the Baron choose this path? Again, we don't know for sure, but my theory is that he chose this simply because Helena did. He wanted to be with the love of his life as long as possible. When he did this, however, he did not foresee how they would die, which pretty much ruined all of his plans for the future as a ghost. She and the Baron both became ghosts of Hogwarts, each getting a nickname. Helena was named the Grey Lady, and the Baron was named the Bloody Baron. This was because his clothes were stained with the blood from Helena's murder and his suicide. The Baron bound himself in chains as an act of penance, forever punishing himself for the biggest mistake of his life that haunts him every day. Helena became Ravenclaw's official ghost, and the Baron became Slytherin's official ghost. The two had little to no contact with one another. The Baron gave Helena space, knowing that he had lost her forever. Most everyone in the castle, for centuries to come, never knew how the two died, nor why the Baron was covered in blood. Nearly Headless Nick, when asked about why he was covered in blood, said in a fearful voice, "I never asked." Rowena's diadem was also lost. Helena was the only one who knew of its location, and it was deemed the lost diadem of Ravenclaw. As years passed, no one associated the Grey Lady with Helena Ravenclaw, and many forgot who she really was or knew of her ancestry. The only other person that knew was the Bloody Baron. I think it's safe to assume that she liked it better this way, because she was no longer compared to or in the shadow of her mother, which is all that she ever wanted, to be free of her last name. Being the ghost of Ravenclaw, many students and teachers asked her if she knew anything about the lost diadem. Guilt swelled up inside her every time she was asked this. Despite that, however, she told them that she didn't know anything. As a ghost, Helena was known to be quiet to most of the school, but she often talked to Ravenclaw students. She was particularly useful if they were lost or if they'd misplaced something. In the 1940s, Helena was approached by a boy named Tom Riddle, who would later be known as Lord Voldemort. Riddle was an evil child, hell-bent on world domination, but more importantly, hell-bent on conquering death, past being a ghost. He planned to split his soul and create Horcruxes. Doing this meant that he could potentially live on forever. He was looking for objects that had great worth. One of the objects he wanted to pursue was Ravenclaw's diadem. When he approached Helena, he used his charm, flattering her and making it seem like he understood her and sympathized with her. He got her to reveal her true identity and her ancestry as the daughter of Rowena Ravenclaw for the first time. He then got her to tell him where she left the diadem. Riddle was the only person that she had ever confided in. He eventually went to get the diadem when he finished school, and later brought it back to the castle. He hid it in the room of requirement, unbeknownst to Helena. Helena deeply regretted telling Riddle the location of the diadem after finding out who he became and what he had done to it.
I know who he is! I know what he's done! He defiled it with dark magic!
Helena continued to be the quiet but helpful ghost to Ravenclaw students while at Hogwarts. One Halloween, about 50 years after her interaction with Riddle, she attended Nearly Headless Nick's 500th Death Day party. She, along with hundreds of other ghosts, enjoyed the party and the moldy food that they couldn't eat but could merely walk through to almost taste it. Helena attended Albus Dumbledore's funeral along with the other Hogwarts ghosts. She and the others were barely visible in the bright sunlight, seen only when they moved, shimmering in the gleaming air. The following year, before the Battle of Hogwarts, Helena had a chance for redemption after allowing Riddle to defile the diadem. She talked to Harry, and he became the second person to find out who she really was, and to hear of what she had done with the diadem before she died. Harry used that information to find and destroy the Horcrux, along with the diadem, which crumbled to pieces in his hand after it was exposed to fiend fire. After the battle, Helena joined in the celebration of Voldemort's death. She was glad to see him go after he had so evilly manipulated her and after what he had done to her mother's diadem. Harry agreed not to reveal her true identity to anyone, and she continued her quiet, ghostly life as the Grey Lady. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button to help grow the channel. You can follow me on social media, links are in the description, and look out for more great videos on the way.